So at work, one of the Slack channels for my team is basically a big dumping ground for a lot of our security operations center analysts, detection engineers, threat hunters, and security researchers to just drop resources into. And one of the cool ones that came through the other day was a new lolglobs project. A catalog of wildcard-based command obfuscation techniques for Linux, macOS, Windows CMD, and PowerShell. From Hex V1N or Hexvin, I'm not sure, but Josh comes in and says, hey, this is kind of cool. It looks a lot like Weedsay's project for Argfuscator. This resource is all about obfuscating or manipulating, tweaking, and sort of changing what a command looks like when it's ran on the command line, or like a processor program that executes on your computer. So when hackers start to manipulate how certain syntax looks, they might be able to adjust and break some sort of detection. In case it's looking for a literal string with any parts and pieces for the exact representation, but some things might get in the way or change a representation. And we've showcased Argfuscator with the video on this channel before, but that focuses mainly on command line arguments. And when I say arguments, I mean like the /s or -i or parameters and configurations or values that are passed after the command or program itself. There's a big list of all of the built-in native and natural Windows binaries that kind of allow for this capability, and being able to tweak and adjust how it's executed with other command line references. And that focus on native, natural, like built-in applications, programs, or binaries kind of all come from a living off the land idea, where you're naturally just using tools that are already available on the operating system that a hacker could be targeting. This living off the land resource, LOLBAS, or LOL as that acronym for living off the land, has kind of caught on, and it's been awesome for the cybersecurity industry. I'm sure you're familiar, you've seen GTFO bins, something more on the Linux side of the house. Tons of these projects started to pop up, like living off the land remote monitoring and management, or RMM tools. There's living off trusted sites, there's living off the land drivers for like kernel drivers that could be exploited. I'm wearing their shirt right now. So many of these awesome projects have come to life that there's now been a new resource living off the land, like lol.farm, where you could see each of these in their awesome capability for really just documenting known techniques. So Hex V1N, I believe a detection engineer over at ReliaQuest, really leaned in on command line obfuscation amongst a lot of the recent attacks that the industry has seen. Here, defense evasion techniques remain fragmented, a little bit all over the place, but command obfuscation does always emerge as the top technique. So this is their project lolglobs, process execution through wildcard pattern evasion. Because while you could just as easily run the command copy item, get content, invoke command, or invoke expression, that on its own might get detected by EDR, or security solutions that are in place in an environment. So what if you did some weird, wild shenanigans and globbed? Use a wildcard like a star or an asterisk, or use question marks to act as a placeholder for a specific single character. I just think it's cool to have all of this documented and cataloged and archived and listed in an awesome way that, sure, you as a human can search through, or you can even use an API and just dump all of the data. I'm a huge proponent of living off the land projects and resources like this because they really do centralize the information for the most high signal understanding. And some of you probably know I am getting a little bit more on board with the old AI bandwagon, but like, look back at the API. Imagine this, that you could just give and let your LLM run with. Humans might be overwhelmed with the weird, strange syntax, but a machine doing that pattern matching and having now in context what is known bad or known trickery, that could be really cool. I'll be honest, I think there is some really cool opportunity for AI in the Security Operations Center. So with that in mind, let me tell you about something awesome from the sponsor of today's video. Exaforce. A Security Operations Center demands an always on and always active effort to protect your business. Exaforce provides an agentic AI solution to empower the entire SOC lifecycle across detection, triage, investigation, and response, offered as both software as a service or managed detection and response platform. platform. They handle the complete security workflow, and they connect and correlate context across alerts, logs, configuration data, code, and identities across your environment to understand the big picture of an incident. The secret sauce is a multi-model architecture, not just some off-the-shelf LLM. They leverage 3 specialized models together for semantic, behavioral, and knowledge-based insight. That means deterministic and explainable outcomes. These systems manage entity relationships, detect anomalies, and improve automated reasoning with past historical decisions and configured business rules, all visible to you, without the black box uncertainty of a vanilla LLM. Exaforce is built for lean security teams, the startups and mid-size organizations that need enterprise security monitoring without hiring a full team. Their Exabots work as your autonomous analysts 24/7. And out of the box, you get coverage for external applications already in your stack. They include pre-built integrations for GitHub, Slack, Okta, and more. All the corners and crevices that some traditional security tools overlook, Exaforce is tracking the modern attack surface, where breaches begin. Exaforce scales from where your organization starts to wherever it goes next. Whether you need your first security operations center or you're augmenting an existing security program, the solution adapts to your business maturity level and grows with your needs. Check out why Exaforce is trusted by security operations centers from next-gen startups to global enterprises, and transform your own with agentic AI. You can see Exaforce in action with my link below in the video description, jh.live/Exaforce. Huge thanks to Exaforce for sponsoring this video. Alrighty, so after I saw this Loglobs project shared in Slack at work, I saw it on Twitter that evening. So this is Vin, Gabe, or Gabriel, I believe, drop a new Lolbin Lolbass inspired project called Loglobs. And I thought, man, this is just cool. This is just sleek. I think this is helpful, and I wanted to help spotlight it, showcase it, show it to y'all. So I thought, hey, this is just so cool. I want to ask, of course, for permission. Can I showcase this in a video, pretty please? And he says yes. So I did want to be sure to give Vin or Gabe or Gabriel some support and love. So hey, I'll of course leave a link in the video description for his GitHub, his Twitter, his LinkedIn, his blog, all the awesome stuff that they are up to out on the interwebs and internet airwaves. But I thought we could have some more fun trying this out, trying to see how it might work, trying to see what we could do to mask and hide some process execution. Now, again, I think the benefit here is that, okay, this is tracking how you run a program or run a command. Now, there are a handful of these entries and listings for PowerShell. You can see there are even some for Linux, and I think they even have Mac as well. And you could, of course, contribute, right? Open source project. They have the GitHub link and anyone could add to it, but they use some of the square braces to try to match specific characters. You might be able to have a little bit more runway with, but at the very least, again, that will break a literal string pattern matching that, hey, very likely some security solutions might do. There are a lot here, but there certainly could be more. I think, again, community effort, anyone could contribute. But I thought, man, it would be fun to play with some of these. My team was pointing out the Reg Server 32 one because that is an oldie but a goodie, and that you can do a whole lot with it, and they reference the Lolbass or Lolbins resource down below. But I noticed something interesting. For a lot of the cmd.exe or like regular Windows command prompt execution, they're actually kind of proxying the command from where being the command prompt rendition, let me open up cmd.exe, of like you might be used to on Linux. The which command does not exist over in the Windows world, but for strictly cmd.exe, where will tell you where a program or binary is and get the absolute path. So if I were to where calc, it'll say, look, that's in system32. So same thing as which on Linux, but when you run something like that from within PowerShell, it's going to take in the alias of like a where object filter, not the strict where.exe. You know what I mean? Anyway, I thought that was peculiar because they use that to like resolve in some command substitution with the for loop syntax to then get the full path of the binary. So where.exe is the process that's executed, and then it ends up using that via the for command. So the literal command, if you are only getting like, oh, script logging of the transcription of what's entered in some specific command line session, then you'll see this, and that might break on Reg server. But for process execution, like process create events, I believe you'll still see it run on its own. Like going to search for the 4 binary, I guess 4 files might be the one. 4 files is an actual .exe command, but the batch or cmd.exe shell scripting language for the syntax for like a for loop is going to end up using that %i variable to take the place of, okay, the command you want to run. Anyway, just an interesting nuance I thought was peculiar, and I'm curious, and I'd love to get your opinion in the comments if you're listening, if you got to this part. Yeah, wouldn't that still end up having the binary, once it's resolved, given its name, kind of transplanted into the syntax for what a process creation event end up firing anyway? So I was curious about the Windows CMD ones, but I was more interested in the PowerShell ones, because normally, you know, we like to see a little bit of a PowerShell stager where we use IWR or IRM, invoke web request or invoke REST method to then pull down a payload and execute it with invoke expression. Now, invoke web request has had a little bit of love lately, I think from Dead Overflow or Underflow or whatever, the individuals that were kind of looking and seeing like, oh, PowerShell does some weird stuff when it's working with the like Trident MHTML engine, I think, processing, and will actually automatically run some JavaScript. So they patched that and did something weird for script logging capability. So I'll show you, right? The usual alias IWR for the default PowerShell alias for invoke web request, they're masking it and hiding it in some better, more interesting ways here that I really like. But back in the command prompt, like if I were to actually get into PowerShell, let me do just regular IWR example.com here. You can see it automatically has a prompt for a security warning, the script execution risk that Microsoft added, unless you add in the use basic parsing switch, which we could, but it adds more to the like indicator, like more to the command in the command line. We could accomplish the same thing to download something from an external site. Rather than using IWR invoke web request, we can use the invoke REST method option. And since we can use loglobs now to get a fancy, funny looking invocation without ever having the literal invoke REST method or even the IRM alias in here, we could use some of these other stagers. Now we could potentially like pull down a payload, right? Get me example.com. Yeah, and then it returns the actual response. So the next thing I was thinking about to actually give you a demo, have some fireworks for the video, was to just host a payload. And I was thinking, you know what, we could do it on like stupid Dumbo Pastebin. Everyone knows that. Then I thought, you know what, we can get a little bit more creative. Maybe we use some of the cool new tricks that I heard about with Poly Uploader. I learned this from that sweet webinar time with Sublime Security and Brian Baskin. He showed me this utility that will like mass spread out or slap up your file that you want on as many different like hosting sites as it supports. Over 133 different sites, and they're the like weird random ones that you've never heard of. Of course, like GoFile is in there, but they actually have a cool legend and mapping of which of these services allow for a totally anonymous upload, like no account required, or even let you delete files or give you flexibility with an API. So really cool resource here. And look at this list. I'm gonna scroll out here so this is a little bit more readable, but the amount of hosts here in this table with that legend to be able to see how much you could upload, where and how, and if you need an account is wild. Like, I would like the Living Off Trusted Sites resource. I'll bring that up super quick just so folks are aware. Like things like GitHub or OneDrive or Google Docs or Mega, like the things that you could just, upload a file to. But everyone knows about those. These are the lesser known, esoteric, obscure stuff that, maybe some actor could stage some payload or part of an attack chain there. We saw Catbox Mo and tons of others. Anyway, Poly Uploader, sweet utility for you, and if anything, the GitHub repository is a neat reference. Anyway, just wanted to cram in that resource here for you. But anyway, let's get a super small, simple, silly, stupid little notepad.exe payload that we'll just host up on Pastebin, keeping it easy, create new paste. Oh, thank you. This better be a real turnstile and not ClickFix malware. Cool. So we've got a raw link here now, right? And that'll give us the Pastebin raw URL. Now, I think that on its own is a little ugly indicator, so I like to use some of the like URL shortening services, and this one I really, really like is .gd because it looks tiny and doesn't make any sense, but we could go ahead and shorten that URL and we'll have a super tiny is.gd random number string after the fact. But now we could use the staged and prepared invoke REST method PowerShell commandlet using the loglobs project to just tuck that away with the star, asterisk, or wildcard so it could then fill in what might be the rest of the commandlet there. And this on its own we'll pull down notepad.exe, right? What we just staged in Pastebin. And if we really wanted to get super crafty and stupid, we could mix in and pour in our own little teeny weeny obfuscation. Because this is PowerShell, backticks can just be strewn about randomly. Is that a word? Is that the right word? Is strewn about? Strewn about? Anyway, we can then pipe that to invoke expression, or IEX, using the alias, but of course, we could now use lolglobs to mask and tuck that away too. Now, I think it's worth pointing out, right? I've been using these PowerShell commandlets and instructions for the actual execution of like a process or a commandlet, right? Argfuscator doesn't do that. Argfuscator is focused on obfuscation of arguments. While we could obfuscate, again, in whatever PowerShell way we might like, we could still get kind of parts and pieces and even use those two projects in harmony. So I am actually just not going to add backticks in every spot, like we don't need it for the \n, but you could probably track down and play with some other opportunity to get that return back. You can get clever and creative with your command line obfuscation. Now let's pipe in that IEX equivalent, and with that, we'll fire Notepad. Obviously, tiny, cutesy, trinket, little showcase. But look at our command line, right? There is no clear invoke expression, invoke rest method, invoke web request, a URL that makes no sense. Like, that is some cool little clever tricks. So maybe something worth adding to your arsenal. Big thanks to Gabriel, Hex V1N, and the lolglobs project. Big thanks to Exaforce for sponsoring this video and their support of the channel. Link below in the video description for that and everything else. And thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video.